Welcome to Part 7 of the Nutrition and Weight Loss class. This section covers weight loss strategies for success. When we're looking at weight loss, it involves multiple lifestyle changes that need to be practiced for life. Healthy eating, physical activity, and environmental control. But consistency is important. As we discussed with that calorie balance, it's about learning to deficit calories and continuing to practice those strategies long term. If we're not consistent with our behaviors, we can't expect to see consistency on the scale. Successful weight management takes practice, just like learning any new skill. If you were to try to learn a new instrument, you would have to practice that skill over and over and over again until you got better at that skill. And successful weight management is just that. It's multiple different skills that have to be practiced over and over and over again in order for you to have these behaviors become more routine. You have a lifetime of habits and behaviors that revolve around food that you don't even think about. So it's all about practice. Successful strategies for weight loss include keeping a food journal, filling up on vegetables, not drinking your calories, reducing eating out, practicing mindful eating, setting up your environment for success, and of course, physical activity. We are going to talk about each one of these strategies one by one. So a food journal. A food journal helps you to learn about your eating habits, helps you to explore what you eat, how much you eat, when you eat, and how you feel when you eat. It brings self-awareness and accountability to what is going in your mouth. Individuals who track their food intake lose 50% more weight. 50% more weight. That's a huge statistic. So how do we get the most out of our food journal? You need to choose the method that will work best for you, whether it's written, a website, or a phone application. If you hate electronic devices, use a written record. If you have your smartphone with you at all times throughout the day, download a smartphone tracking app. You want to track your foods and beverages as you eat them. You can easily forget that snack you had mid-morning or how much of something you had if you're not writing it down as you go. Number 3, use measuring devices for accuracy with portions. You might think you're putting a half a cup of rice on your plate, when in all reality, it's a full cup. That's double the amount of calories. Number 4, track the times that you eat so you can see your patterns and behaviors. Number 5, track your emotions. There might be certain emotions that are tied to certain food triggers. Identifying this is important if we're wanting to break that. And number 6, vow to be honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, it's going to be really hard to make change. Just because you had a bad day doesn't mean you don't want to track it. Just because you didn't track it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Those can be the most important days to track to bring more awareness to what is truly coming in. There are multiple free tracking applications and websites out there. I have some listed here. Choose the method that you enjoy the most. The next strategy is practicing using the healthy plate. The healthy plate works by first filling half your plate with non-starchy vegetables. By filling the plate with vegetables first, it helps you reduce your portions of carbohydrates and proteins. It helps you to fill up on healthy, filling foods to reduce your overall calorie intake. Remember, you only need about 3 to 4 ounces of lean protein per meal, and we want to incorporate a serving of a complex carbohydrate at each meal. Some strategies is to swap half of a starch or protein in a casserole pasta dish with vegetables. The next slides have some examples of non-starchy vegetables. What would fall into those categories? Lean protein sources. And for the 3 ounces, how many calories and how many grams of protein are you getting in? These all meet the 7 to 100 ratio. Some additional lean protein sources. Carbohydrate sources, including fruits and starchy vegetables. Carbohydrate sources, including beans and dairy. And carbohydrate sources, including grains. The next strategy is to drink 0-calorie beverages. We want to avoid sugar-sweetened beverages. This includes juice, even 100% fruit juice, sports drinks, soda, sweet tea, and chocolate milk. Sugar-sweetened beverages are essentially empty calories that don't fill you up. They provide you with calories but aren't filling you up with nutrients. Alcohol is another example of an empty calorie, including beer, wine, and liquor, so we want to watch our consumption. Our goal is 64 ounces of water per day, and if you want to add variety to your water, I encourage using low-calorie flavor packets or liquids, or even adding in some fresh fruit or citrus. The average American eats out on average 5 times per week. That's a quarter of our meals eaten outside the home today. 1 out of 4 Americans eats fast food every day. Food away from the home tends to be of lower nutritional quality. It contains more total fat, saturated fat, sodium, cholesterol, and less fiber and calcium. For each meal away from the home, approximately 150 additional calories are consumed. We multiply 150 additional calories by that 5 times per week. That's 750 additional calories per week. That would translate to an 11-pound weight difference in a year. You might not notice an 11-pound weight difference in a year, but I can assure after 5, you'd notice that 55-pound weight increase. We recommend significantly reducing the frequency of eating out after surgery. It can be hard to make appropriate food choices while eating out, and it's a great way to save yourself calories. Not only are you going to save yourself calories, but you're also going to save money. The average American spends almost half of its food budget on eating out. Now, if you are going to eat out, there are some ways that we can reduce our intake. Plan ahead. Look online for the menu and nutritional information and choose your meal ahead. This can decrease your impulse order at the restaurant. Ask for nutrition information at the restaurant if you weren't able to look ahead. If you go to a chain restaurant, they actually have to provide you with the nutritional information if you ask. If it's not already on the menu, don't hesitate to ask someone for the nutrition information. Order first. We tend to order similar to our fellow diners. Going first means you're more likely to stick with your original healthy plan. Look for light menu items. Many restaurants now have certain sections for these items. Choose a balance of protein, vegetables, and healthy carbohydrates. If a restaurant doesn't serve vegetables or fruits, it generally isn't a place that you want to find yourself. Order smaller portions. Look for high-protein appetizers and add a side vegetable or salad to make it a complete meal. Ask how items are prepared and don't be afraid to make specific requests. No cheese or mayonnaise, salad dressing on the side, or no oils, butters, or sauce on the vegetables. Choose foods that are grilled, baked, broiled, steamed, or roasted, and avoid foods that are fried, breaded, creamy, crispy, or fritters. Substitute high-calorie side dishes for additional steamed vegetables or a salad. Split a meal with a friend or ask for a to-go container at the beginning of the meal so you can box up half before you even start. Don't drink your calories. If you want an alcoholic beverage, try a glass of wine instead of a heavy beer or a mixed drink. And of course, avoid all-you-can-eat restaurants or buffets. We generally want to get our bang for our buck when we're going to places like this, and after surgery, that's not going to happen. Mindful eating. Mindful eating means eating with complete awareness and being present in the moment. Mindless eating means eating with distractions. We want to turn those distractions off. Turn off the TV, don't play with your phone, and don't eat at your desk. Have a designated space where you are eating meals. You want to eat slowly and give yourself 30 minutes to eat a meal. It takes 20 minutes for your brain to register that your stomach's full. If you're eating faster than that, there's a reason why you get full after the fact and can feel uncomfortable. By slowing down your meal times, you allow those triggers to send the messages and allow you to learn when to stop. Put your fork and spoon down between each bite. Pay attention to the flavors and textures you are enjoying. This can actually bring more enjoyment and pleasure to your meals, and you can get satisfied quicker. Listen to your body. Stop when you are satisfied. The goal isn't to feel full. The signaling of full or stuffed means you've already overconsumed. When we talk about mindful eating, we use what's called the hunger satiety scale. It's a scale of 1 to 10. 1, you are so hungry you can eat anything you can. 10, very uncomfortable, maybe even painful. Our goal throughout the day is to stay between a 4 and a 7. 4, I'm a little hungry, you can wait to eat, but you know you will be getting hungrier soon. 7, I'm comfortably satisfied, hunger is definitely gone. Stop here, you may not feel hungry again for another 2 to 3 hours. It's important that we're also identifying whether or not it's physical hunger versus emotional or head hunger. Physical hunger is progressive. As you can see, as you go down in numbers, you're getting hungrier and hungrier. That urge gets greater. Emotional hunger is more immediate, and you generally fixate on one food. I encourage you, have a glass of water, go for a walk, call a friend. Identify whether or not it's true physical hunger. If you find yourself in the kitchen and you recognize it's not physical, it's emotional hunger, distract that energy and do something else. We cannot talk about weight management without discussing environmental control. It's important that you are setting up your environment for success. Do not rely on willpower and self-control. We know willpower and self-control can only take us so far, and generally, this is where diets fail. Environmental control uses 2 different strategies. There's subtractive control, where we're removing tempting foods from the environments that you spend the most time, home, work, car, etc. And additive control, where we're adding healthful foods front and center. A fruit basket on the counter or at your work desk, washed and prepared vegetables and fruits on the middle shelf in the fridge for ready-to-go snacks. We know if we put it in the crisper, that bottom shelf, I always say that's where vegetables and fruits go to die because we forget about them there. Put them where they're at eye level. Think about your environment. How can you set it up for better success? Many of you might be thinking, I live with other people. But I want you to ask yourself, do they need to have these foods around when you're trying so hard to lose weight and gain control of your health? Or can they live without them? Chances are they can live without them. It's important to recognize that this isn't just about you getting healthy. It's the whole house making a change. If the house isn't making a change, it can be very challenging for you to stick to your goals. Last is practicing physical activity. Physical activity can help speed up your weight loss momentum, but most importantly, it's a key strategy for long-term weight management. Our goal is to get in a minimum of 150 minutes of exercise per week. That's 30 minutes 5 times a week. This is intentional exercise, so it's outside of your typical day in and day out routine. We also want to incorporate in resistance training 2 to 3 times per week. Most importantly, you need to have fun while being active. Most of our patients start out with something like walking. Maybe they'll start with 5 minutes at a time and slowly increase that to get to that ultimate 30 minutes. Or water exercises. You're more buoyant in the water, which can reduce pressure on your knees and joints, which can make it more easy to be physically active. Next is the final video, Part 8, Rapid Weight Loss Before Surgery and Goal Setting.